What's up, everybody? It's your boy Big Papa JT back at you guys with another video, and I'm going to be talking about is Florida football back? Now, Florida football has had a few down years, especially last year when they didn't make it to a bowl game. But this year, they're 4-1 right now, and they're about to play LSU in the swamp. And I just feel like this Florida team is on the come up. Now, I'm not a Florida fan. I actually despise Florida because I'm a Miami fan, but I like to be unbiased in my approach, and I like to give credit where it's due. This Florida team had a bad L to Kentucky, and they bounced back, and I thought Florida was going to be very, very terrible this year, but they surprised me, and they deserve this video. So let's just look at the stats on offense and defense. On offense, they're still abysmal to watch. I mean, they're just so cringy on offense. They struggle on every possession. It looks like they just struggle to get first downs. Just one first down looks like they struggle, but they're 96, not 92 in the country, and yards per game on offense, having 378.2 yards per game. They're 92nd passing the ball. They only had 203.4 passing yards per game. They're 71st in the country rushing the ball, having 174.8 rushing yards per game. And they had 35.4 points per game, which is 42nd in the country. Their defense, on the other hand, which is undeniably one of the best defenses in the country, they're 19th in yards per game, giving up 311 yards per game. They have the second best pass defense in the country, led by a very, very good secondary, which we'll get into in a little bit. They only allow 140 passing yards per game. They're 85th in the country in rushing yards per game allowing 171 rushing yards per game. And they're 9th in the country in points per game, giving up, only allowing 14 points per game. So a big reason why this Florida defense is so good is because the two key secondary players that they have. Now, Chauncey Gardiner Johnson is debatably the best safety going into the 2019 NFL draft, debatably. And he has 30 tackles, 5.5 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks. He doesn't have any interceptions or fumble recoveries or anything like that, but he's a very, very good player in the secondary, and he makes plays. Against Kentucky, he made a few plays. He knocked down the pass, and he's a very, very solid safety, I believe. Now, C.J. Henderson, on the other hand, I feel he might be the best cornerback Florida has had since Joe Hayden. I'm not high on him. He's a sophomore. If he goes into the draft, I don't think he should go into the draft this year. I think if he goes next year, he'll have a way, way higher stock because right now he's a third to fourth round projected pick. I think if he waits one more year and has a better junior year, he's already having a pretty good season right now. His draft stock could go up, but I just think he should wait one more year before declaring. But as of right now, he has 14 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. He has 1 interception, 2 pass deflections, and 2 forced fumbles. So this guy is a playmaker, and I think he's the best cornerback Florida has had since Joe Hayden. I'm that high on him. You don't really see a lot of big plays made on him on his side of the ball, and he's a big reason why this Florida defense is second in the nation in passing yards per game, giving up, only allowing 140 yards per game through the air. Now, my biggest concern with this Florida Gators team is the offense, and I think the biggest reason why the offense isn't as good as it could be is Felipe Franks. Now, Felipe Franks has improved. He's 61st in the nation in passing yards. He has 961 passing yards. He's 17th in passing touchdowns, but most of those touchdowns came against cupcake teams, especially against Charleston Southern. I believe he had 5. So you take away those touchdowns, he really only has about 7 or 8, or maybe less than that. But he's 17th in the nation in passing touchdowns. He has 12. He's 92nd in the nation in completion percentage with a 57% completion percentage. And that's a very, very key part of why this Florida offense isn't as good as it should be, because this guy isn't the most accurate, and he's very, very gunshot in the pocket. When he sees pressure, he will absolutely flip the ball as hard as he can, and his footwork still isn't the best, and I believe that's a big part of it. His footwork and mechanics aren't in line, then is why his completion percentage is so abysmal. 92nd in the country in completion percentage. He's hasn't really turned the ball over a lot. He's only thrown 3 interceptions, and he's 72nd in passing yards per game, having 192.2 passing yards per game. But overall, I think this Florida team is a pretty solid team. The next 5 games they have, all are winnable games. The LSU game is probably going to be the second hardest game of the schedule. LSU will know they're one of the hottest teams in the country. Florida is favored to win that game, according to ESPN, by 57%. The Vanderbilt game at Vanderbilt, that might be a competitive game because Vanderbilt is very, very improved this year, especially on the defense side of the ball. But I believe Florida is better than Vanderbilt. The Georgia game, I don't believe Florida wins that game at all. The Missouri game, I believe that's going to be a toss-up. Missouri has that high-powered offense, but they're not very good on defense. And South Carolina, who is just like Florida, similar, because they both struggle on the offensive side of the ball, but they're very, very great on defense. So overall, I believe that this Florida team is on the come up, and it's very, very impressive of how quick Dan Mullen has turned this program around. They have already reached their win total than what they had last year. They had 4 wins last year. They have 4 wins now. So very impressed. I'm not a Florida fan. I hate Florida, but I'm just giving them credit where credit is due, and they deserve a video. So make sure to comment your thoughts. Make sure to like the video, comment, and subscribe.